So Leone has agreed a deal to join Liverpool. Still no news on Marc Guehi from Palace, whether that'll happen or not. The countdown is on. Somebody who might know a little bit more on this is our chief football correspondent, Alex Crook. Good morning, Crookie.
Good morning, Alex.
Very good morning. How are we doing?
Yeah, really
very
good,
well, mate.
Thanks. What's going on at Liverpool, Crookie? Do you think Guehi will get done?
I think it's in the balance. I spoke to somebody close to the situation yesterday, and certainly they weren't overly optimistic. I think partly down to Crystal Palace's valuation. We know that Steve Parish can drive a hard bargain, and also because I think Guehi himself wants some guarantees that he's going to get playing time this season in a World Cup year. And obviously Liverpool have Konate and Van Dijk as their first choice central defenders. I think the signing of Leone could be a very shrewd one for the future. Only 18 years of age, £26 million plus add-ons seems very cheap. When you consider that a lot of big clubs in the Premier League have made inquiries, and I've spoken to someone who's worked closely with him at Parma, he thinks he can go on and become as good as Virgil van Dijk. If he does, then £26 million will be a bargain. But talks will continue with Guehi because they are a bit short-handed, Liverpool, in the centre-back areas, with Gerald Quansah leaving. Joe Gomez is back in training, which maybe makes the matter less urgent. And then, of course, there's the Alexander Isak size elephant in the room. And I was at the Premier League launch yesterday. I spoke to Liverpool legend Ian Rush to get his thoughts on the Isak saga.
Well, I think the way he performed last season, I think any club in the world would like to sign him. He was absolutely fantastic, and from my own point of view, I'd love to see him being a Liverpool player. I don't know whether that happened, but I just judge him on his performance on the pitch. And last season, he was most probably the best player in the league, in my opinion, as a striker. You do that, and let's see what happens.
Okay, so we'll keep tabs on the Isak saga. Will it happen? Will it not? I mean, you can't imagine him working his way back into the good books of Newcastle fans. If it doesn't happen, it's a bit of a disaster for Isak.
Yeah, agreed. Not just Newcastle fans, but I think even players in that dressing room, and clearly the manager, Eddie Howe, very frustrated. But there's two sides to the coin, isn't there, if you're Eddie Howe? Yes, you can be disappointed by the lack of loyalty that Isak has shown him. After all, it was Eddie who gave him the chance to ply his trade in the Premier League. But I think he's also shrewd enough to realise that if Isak is still a Newcastle player come September the 1st, then he needs him because he's their best player. Yeah. For me, he's one of the three best forwards in the league alongside Mo Salah and Erling Haaland. So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens in the next 16 days. Liverpool are still waiting. Virgil van Dijk told me after the Community Shield they're short in the forward areas. I haven't heard of an alternative target to Alexander Isak. So if that deal doesn't get done, do they go into the season with just what they've got, or do they try and do something last minute? I think it's really interesting. Then you've got the Johan Wissa situation. Yep. And as annoyed as Newcastle fans are at Isak, I'm sure Brentford fans are feeling exactly the same, because he is also trying to force his way out of the club, and he has refused to train earlier in the pre-season.
Crocky, two questions for you. First one, Eze, any more news on that? Is it out of Arsenal and Spurs to sign him? And the second question is, seeing as you was there yesterday, did you ask Howard Webb about the letter that I sent him?
Do you know what, Gavi? That's the one question that I didn't get round.
Oh, okay. Crookie.
What a good friend you are.
You bottle job.
Listen, you should have given me a text. I'd certainly put it to him. I'm sure that Howard would have answered that question.
Gabby who? Who's that?
He might have gone into detail about how poor Aston Villa were in the final part of the season as well. In terms of Eberechi Eze, it does look a two-way fight between Arsenal and Spurs. His release clause expires tomorrow. I don't think anybody's going to trigger that in full. £68 million is the magic number. But again, Steve Parish is asking for big money for Eze, and obviously...
For Eberechi Eze in the Premier League, when you know he can do it, you would imagine that Spurs would have put that bid in already.
Yeah, but Daniel Levy, again, likes to get value for money, doesn't he? So he's never going to put his biggest offer down first and foremost. What I can tell you about Tottenham, and they've been relatively quiet in the window so far, but the funds are there. So I do think it might be quite a busy end to the window, a busy last couple of weeks, because obviously Thomas Frank is short on numbers. They were decent last night, I thought, for most of the game. Then they got a bit Spursy in the last 5 minutes and obviously ended up losing on penalties. But I think there were signs of encouragement, and I do think they're going to have a much better season because, no disrespect to Big Ange, I just think Thomas Frank is a far better manager.
Okay, fair enough. Listen, if we'd had a shot for every time we've said Spursy this morning, we would be rolling our way out the door today.
Terrible.
Crookie, thanks so much for coming on with us. We'll be keeping you nice and busy between now and the end of the transfer window, and of course all season round as well. Alex Crook there. Don't forget you can get the latest on our website at talksport.com, and you can download the free talkSPORT app and receive all the latest transfer news right to your home screen.
talkSPORT Breakfast, waking you up Monday to Friday morning from 6 a.m. on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.